In North Carolina, a shocking multi-campus federal raid has exposed one of the largest student-run drug trafficking networks in U.S. history. Federal agents launched Operation Clean Slate at exactly 4:12 a.m., targeting universities including Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, and Appalachian State. What appeared to be ordinary college life, dorm rooms, fraternities, study groups, was secretly being used as a nationwide distribution pipeline for cocaine, fentanyl, meth, LSD, and illegal pills. More than $1.5 million in narcotics were tracked across campuses, and investigators traced over $6.7 million in student-controlled transactions. In a massive coordinated raid, the FBI and DEA arrested over 200 students, many of them fraternity members and even top-performing students, all accused of trafficking, laundering, and supplying dangerous drugs across multiple states. Officials say this operation wasn't a small party-level bust. It was a full criminal enterprise operating inside American colleges. America always believed that its college campuses were places of ideas, ambition, and opportunity, not crime. Parents sent their children to universities hoping they would build futures, not destroy them. But at exactly 4:12 a.m., that illusion shattered. Before the sun rose, dozens of campuses across the United States were surrounded by unmarked federal vehicles, tactical teams in bulletproof gear, and drone units scanning rooftops. The operation was fast, precise, and overwhelming. Students were pulled from dorms in pajamas, professors watched from office windows, and campus police were ordered to stand down as federal agents took control. Overnight, the country realized that what looked like normal student life had been hiding one of the most complex drug trafficking networks in modern American history. The investigation didn't begin with a big cartel intel drop or a high-level informant. It started quietly, almost invisibly, with a freshman overdose at a small Midwestern university. He wasn't connected to gangs, didn't have a criminal record, and wasn't known as a drug user. His death was supposed to be a tragic but isolated event, until lab reports revealed something shocking. The fentanyl found in his system matched the chemical profile of batches coming from advanced Mexican super labs operated by cartel chemists. This level of purity was rarely seen in small-town cases. Federal analysts flagged the signature and compared it with recent overdose reports in other states. Within weeks, patterns emerged. Same chemical fingerprint, same distribution style, same packaging, completely different campuses. And then investigators realized the truth. Someone had built a cross-country distribution chain using students as runners, suppliers, financiers, and transporters. But these weren't stereotypical criminals. They blended into campus culture flawlessly. They attended lectures, went to football games, asked questions in class, worked part-time jobs, and appeared harmless. Behind the scenes, however, they were part of a hidden economy, moving cocaine, meth, counterfeit pills, and high-grade fentanyl with frightening efficiency. When cyber analysts hacked into encrypted group chats used by members of the ring, the scale of the network became undeniable. The students used code language embedded into regular conversations. Words like study package, library drop, project partner, and final assignment all had hidden meanings that the average person would never notice. A simple message like, "Meet me before class at the library," was actually a schedule for a drug exchange. A photo of a backpack on a chair meant a pickup was ready. Their communication system was intentionally designed to blend with student routines so perfectly that no one, not even close friends, suspected anything. As the FBI and DEA dug deeper, they discovered the network wasn't operating from one university. It stretched across 14 states, connecting students from campuses such as Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, Appalachian State, Arizona State, Penn State, Michigan State, and several community colleges. Every campus had different responsibilities. Some were distribution hubs, others were storage points. A few were responsible for recruiting new members. Mostly students who needed money, felt pressured, or believed they were joining a side hustle that wouldn't hurt anyone. The financial system behind the network shocked investigators even more than the drugs themselves. When agents traced the money trail, the numbers didn't add up at first. Small, harmless-looking student payments, $20 here, $50 there, $100 from another campus, were being funneled into crypto wallets that were anything but harmless. Over $6.7 million moved silently through digital accounts controlled by club treasurers, student organization presidents, and even a few part-time tutors who moonlighted as financial handlers. These weren't random transfers. They were structured, timed, and masked under legitimate university activities. A single club meeting could hide dozens of micro-payments routed through crypto mixers, making the transactions nearly impossible to track without federal decryption tools. One engineering student in Texas, described by his professors as a genius with algorithms, created custom software that automatically broke large cartel payments into hundreds of tiny transactions spread across multiple wallets. Each payment was so small and so routine-looking that no bank system ever flagged it. Investigators later discovered that this student had been selling his code to other members across states, turning financial laundering into a subscription service. Meanwhile, in California, a so-called wellness club used university mental health grants to cover shipping costs that were secretly tied to cartel accounts. Their public events, yoga sessions, meditation circles, nutrition workshops were nothing more than a mask for their underground financial routes. On the East Coast, a fraternity used a fake textbook exchange program as its cover. Students would order books, but instead of receiving shipments of literature, they received padded packages filled with illicit pills. Payment processors linked to the fraternity disguised the money as donations for academic support. By the time this information reached federal analysts, it became clear that this wasn't a sloppy college scam. It was a fully engineered financial ecosystem designed to be invisible. Federal agents quickly realized they weren't dealing with amateurs. The network was decentralized, highly organized, and powered by students who understood cybersecurity, finance, logistics, and psychological manipulation. They weren't being exploited by a cartel. They were building their own cartel-like structure inside the American education system. Each campus acted like a branch office with distributed responsibility. Some handled storage, others transportation, while the most tech-savvy campuses acted as headquarters for encryption, routing, and communication. When officials gathered for a classified briefing, the data on the board was so alarming that the room fell silent. The sheer sophistication of the operation forced leadership to authorize Operation Clean Slate with emergency powers. For months, undercover agents lived double lives. They posed as freshmen struggling to fit in, joined student clubs, attended campus events, and even went to weekend parties under the pretense of blending in. Hidden microphones captured deals happening feet away from campus security. Agents mapped out drop points, dorm room safe houses, fraternity basements converted into pill labs, and library storage rooms used as counting stations. Surveillance teams spread across the nation. They monitored parking garages where handoffs took place between students carrying backpacks. They hid in maintenance tunnels beneath campuses listening to coded messages being exchanged. They installed disguised drone cameras inside smart lampposts to track movements across courtyards. By the time the network was fully mapped, federal officials knew they had one shot to strike before students scattered or wiped their digital footprints. When the green light finally came, the nationwide takedown had to happen with absolute precision. No warnings, no leaks, no second chances. At 4:12 a.m., while most students slept, the operation unfolded. Entire campuses lit up with flashing police lights. Tactical teams breached dormitory doors in synchronized waves as helicopters hovered above academic quads. Students woke in confusion, some grabbing their phones and filming what they called the craziest night on campus ever, completely unaware of the criminal empire operating hours away from their rooms. At one university, agents stormed a chemistry lab and seized equipment students were using to manufacture counterfeit Adderall pills for finals week distribution. At another, a hidden storage locker was discovered behind a gym wall, filled with meth disguised as sports supplements and protein powder containers. But what stunned the country most were the mugshots released the next day. These weren't gang members or seasoned criminals. They were honor students, scholarship recipients, athletes with trophies, business majors with internships, and engineering students with corporate job offers pending. Some were student body leaders, some were members of academic honor societies, One was an orientation ambassador who greeted new families during campus tours. Out of the hundreds detained, 214 students were arrested in the first wave, and federal documents indicated that over 600 more had indirect involvement, making it one of the largest student-run criminal enterprises in U.S. history. Parents were furious. They demanded answers from university administrations that claimed they had no idea such a network existed. Professors were stunned to learn that students who turned in early assignments and participated in class discussions were simultaneously coordinating interstate drug shipments after hours. Campus officials scrambled to defend themselves, arguing that the network was specifically designed to hide in plain sight and exploit the trust inherent in academic environments. Federal officials repeatedly emphasized that Operation Clean Slate was not launched to shame universities, but to protect them. They warned that criminal organizations worldwide were now targeting college students because of their technological skills, access to funding, and flexible identities. Students were no longer just vulnerable, they were valuable assets for criminal expansion. In the days following the raids, digital forensics teams uncovered even more disturbing evidence. Plans to expand the operation were already in motion. There were encrypted notes about recruiting student athletes for transporting products across states, leveraging computer science majors to strengthen encryption, and using business majors to design laundering systems that mimicked legitimate startup models. It wasn't just a drug ring, it was an evolving hybrid criminal enterprise exploiting young people's intelligence and ambition. As universities struggled to rebuild trust and families tried to understand how such a network could grow undetected, one truth became impossible to ignore. America's campuses were no longer isolated, protected bubbles. They were now potential battlegrounds for financial corruption, technological exploitation, and the dark lure of fast, easy money.